All right, happy Freehands Friday. Today is Friday, July 13th, 2018. My name is Gene Perry, and this is Freehands Friday number 97. There is plenty to talk about, and there's been plenty to post about. These past few weeks have been busy, certainly. I actually got a little bit of vacation, which was nice, but I'm back. And some exciting things have happened, and some new events are on the horizon. So, without any further ado, I'll let you in on what's been going on and what is coming up. So, we had a gig on May 26th with Emmett, and that was with Rachel Flowers as well. And we were joined by Ralph Loinachin, who's a great drummer and percussionist, and he had a MIDI rig as well. So he was playing vibes with one hand and drums with the other, and very talented. And he plays in the band Shine, and I can't remember the name of the gentleman that plays the Chapman stick, but he's a professor over at USC, and he's quite talented. So Ralph's a big fan of the whole stick community and the instrument, and Emmett, and they're tight. So their chemistry was natural, and it felt great. So funny story, I got a call from Dan Chapman right around 7:20 in the evening before the gig, and he said, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm on my way. I'll be there by 8. Don't worry." He's like, "The gig starts at 7:30." And so when I got there, Emmett was already all set up and getting ready to play, and the Guitar Merchant, this was the new location, and the room was full, and it was a great crowd. And what I was able to do while Emmett and Ralph and Rachel were playing was to set up all the hors d'oeuvres and the snacks and the beer and the water and the sodas and stuff. So when people came out into this little atrium, into the main area in the Guitar Merchant, the stuff was all set up, and it went, it was almost like it was planned that way. Also, Emmett, but before the end of the first set, I think Emmett wanted to include me, or to have me. He's a very inclusive person, so he's like, "Gene, do you want to come up and play a few songs?" And so, and this was a great exercise, because it was not my pedal board. I didn't have my pedal board. I didn't have my rig ready. But I went up and played anyways, and so just straight into the board. I don't even know if there was any compression or reverb or EQ, whatever was on his board at that time. And I think I did Corcovado, which is a Joe Beam track, and then I did the first minuet in G minor, and they went okay. But it was a great exercise in playing without any effects, and it's good to do from time to time, especially in front of a whole bunch of people. Just metal on wood, fingers on strings, and a great exercise. So a little nerve-wracking, but totally worth it. So the gig went well. Rachel played some of her tunes, some of her original music, and it sounded a lot like, it reminded me a lot of Donald Fagen. Donald Fagen was Steely Dan. Donald Fagen is a solo artist, and I mean that in the most flattering way. And so that was great to hear. And she sings beautifully. She's amazing. And then she also played some flute with Emmett. So there were duets and trios that were done. I played a couple tunes with Rachel and with Ralph. I kind of screwed up I think the B section of Someday My Prince Will Come. So I had to go back and review that one, but Rachel picked that up right away. She's amazing. It was effortless playing with her, and so really enjoyed that. And Ralph was great too, the perfect complement. So a wonderful evening at the Guitar Merchant. We had another kind of exciting event, at least for me. I got to perform at JPL as part of their JPL's Got Talent. So I was lucky enough to win that last year, and so I got to come back and play as the opener for this year's contest. And I was lucky enough to get Emmett and Yuda and Gary and Mavis and Grace and Dan all out to JPL for a tour, and I was joined by my friend Jerry and his fiance Katie. And so they helped me produce some music. I also had some production assistance from Rodrigo Serrao, who we'll get to in a minute. And with the video, so we had a video playing in the background, and I said some quotes from Emmett, and it was very nice, and the performance went well, and the MC, whose name was Jamie, he mentioned Emmett and Yuta by name. So he said that Gene's playing this instrument called the Chapman stick, and they're here right now, and he got a round of applause, and it was so nice. It was nice for everyone, and it was a good show. The performance, I really was nervous, and I did just okay. Like, lots of room for improvement, so just do the best you can. And then we had a nice tour. We got to look at the various different rooms at JPL where they're working, in particular on the Mars 2020 project. The EDL, the Entry, Descent, and Landing module, was on display there in the high bay, as well as the cruise stage. We got to look at an InSight prototype, or rather the working kind of Earth model, if you will. I think InSight gets to Mars in about 4 more months. So when it does, you've got to land it, and then it's going to start drilling, and ideally it will get down around 14, 15 feet, and we'll be able to analyze all the different composites and see if there's flowing water on Mars, or if there ever was flowing water on Mars, and if it wasn't there, where did it go? So that will be kind of a step in that direction. So exciting JPL stuff. So yeah, the tour, the gig. Okay, so plans for the summer. For me, I've recently started playing music again with my friends in Soil, so Mark Copal and Pete Ruskin. Actually, we have a rehearsal this evening, and so that's been exciting. I've also finally put together my smaller Temple Audio board, which is great. So I've only got things kind of zip tied down to the board right now, but at some point maybe I'll do a little bit on that. So you can see how I'm using a 12 by 17 board. It's not very big, and it has lots of options. And so something that I've found about these, when I make the pedal board too rigid and there's not a lot of flexibility in it, it ends up being like a series of workarounds. And so I'm trying to simplify and yet keep some kind of wiggle room on the pedal board. And it's going, like, I've done it so many times now that I feel I'm really at the board that I like and appreciate. And it's got this full complement of Alexander pedals, a disaster area controller, these wonderful volume pedals that help me to kind of be in 2 places at once. So I'll do some sort of follow-up on that. And then also recently I was asked to join a bell group. So they're ringers, and so I'll be playing Chapman stick with them, and we'll have a couple of shows here in Southern California. One in Temecula, one in Westchester, and then one I think up in Victorsville. And so, and I expect that they get pretty busy around the holidays. So here's another instrument, another pairing of instruments that I've not seen. So I'm excited to do it, and they're looking forward to having me. So it should be a great match. We'll be doing some original music. There's a couple of covers. They're going to be doing Katy Perry's Fireworks, which is great. But most of it is original music, who Michelle has written. It's written for the bells. And so that's exciting. Okay, last bit here. So last bit. Free Hands Academy Summer Workshop is here. And so it's going to be really exciting. So for starters, Emmett's going to be there. So you're going to get a chance to meet Emmett and learn from Emmett and share in his knowledge of the instrument and things that have changed on the instrument over the past few years. Talk a little bit about the new designs with the rail board, but also he'll be sharing a lot of his techniques and things that he's learned along the way, and who better to learn it from than Emmett. Also, Rachel will be returning to join us, which is very exciting. So she adds this whole new dimension. So probably what we'll do is we'll open up the workshop to keyboardists and flute players as well, so that they can get some private lessons with Rachel. And so I'm looking forward to that. And so working with Rachel and Jeannie on how we really want to kind of roll that out. But they've been very gracious with their time, and I'm looking forward to that effort. Oh, and lastly, Rodrigo Serrao. So Rod is coming out from Portugal. We're bringing him out for the program, and wow, what just a titan amongst musicians. So he's going to be sharing a lot about how he's learned very quickly on the Chapman stick, and how he kind of crosses over his work on bass with the Chapman stick. Rodrigo is a professional, so this is what he does all day long. So he's going to be sharing some of the techniques that he uses to, not necessarily techniques, but some of the processes that he has to market himself, whether it's video or recording himself, techniques for home recording, making his own videos and things like that. So that's very valuable in and of itself. So that's very exciting. So it's just the three of them. I may try to get a little time playing with them. I've also got a special guest drummer lined up, and I'm going to announce that probably next week. He is my childhood friend, and he's one of the guys that turned me on to the Chapman stick and to King Crimson. So it's great how that's going to come full circle. And so he'll be there to kind of, in a support role, to support Rachel and Rodrigo and Emmett as they kind of move through their curriculum on what they're sharing. I'll probably just be doing a kind of operations support for that. So like with all Free Hands Academy events, food is included. It's only a one-day event, although I expect to be planning some sort of private party for Friday night, which is August the 17th here in Southern California. So if you have any questions about that, be sure to reach out to me, either through the Stickist or through the Free Hands Academy Facebook page. I'm trying to think of what else is really fit to print at this moment, and nothing really comes to mind. So we'll keep it short and sweet. So I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you had a great week, and that you have a great Free Hands Friday.